National Defense Force will face some challenges as it leads Southern African Development Community troops in their peacekeeping mission in the Democratic Republic of Congo. Now, of course, the United Nations peacekeeping mission in the DRC is ending after 20 years and has been replaced by troops from the SADC region, led, of course, by the South African military. Here's CGTN's Yolisa Njamela with more on that.
The SADC mission in the Democratic Republic of Congo, that is replacing the UN peacekeeping operations known as MONUSCO, and the East African Community Regional Force, is expected to help the DRC's national security forces in fighting rebel groups. Congolese authorities have long accused UN forces of failing to protect civilians from armed groups in the eastern DRC. The SADC force is expected to try to restore peace to the eastern DRC territory, which has been rocked by violence between armed groups and the DRC military. The SADC mission will be led by the South African National Defense Force, a force that has now for a long time been overstretched and underfunded. As a result, some analysts have expressed concern about the SANDF being tasked with leading the peacekeeping mission.
Having senior military officials in the DRC will need the young and fit, will need the age of 25 to 35 to be in this mission. And one of the challenges also is funding. Where do we get the money when our military has been pushed to deal with domestic issues? The question is also, like I said, human resource, where we will need the young people, and also the aging infrastructure that we have to maintain.
Mandula believes that the vast experience that the South African military has will help the mission despite the reservations raised by some.
When you look at first what we have, experience, secondly we've got tactical intelligence, and we have been supporting DRC since 1996. So if one looks at the capability, it's also institutional memory, and it's also what we called the relationship between South Africa and DRC, since it's a role in the inter-Congolese dialogue in 2006. So it is important when you look at our capability, competency of leading this mission.
The reality of the matter is that we're not talking of a first-time effort by the SANDF in the Eastern DRC. We must remember that regardless of the many challenges, including funding, the SANDF has actually deployed in a terrain similar to the one that they're extending or expanding their deployment to. They've been in the South Kivus, they've been working with Malawi and Tanzania, they've been working with the armed forces of the DRC, regardless of the funding challenges. So what we would be actually looking at this point in time, it is to take those lessons learned and best practices on how to actually execute this mammoth task and very expanded and dangerous mandate and mission with limited resources, whereby there is now a capability to ensure that the training, the lessons learned that are brought in from those that have been deployed are used.
The South African, Tanzanian and Malawian troops who are under the SADC mission started arriving in Eastern DRC in December 2023. Yolisa Njamela for CGTN in Johannesburg, South Africa.